What's up, family? Let me get some. I'm sorry, y'all. I meant to take my gum out and get my lip gloss on. What's up, everybody? What's going on, family? How y'all doing? I want to get myself together here. I'm sorry. What's up, family? I hope you guys are doing well. Let me say hi to everybody in the chat. On point says, I'd be lying saying it's not all too much. I'm back. Okay. I don't know what that's about, but what's up? God bless everybody. What's going on, everyone? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, Lanaya, Raphael, Kayshawn, Lavos, Reflecting Trees, Z-Dog, Anonymous. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show tonight, y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I definitely need to go ahead and get my tick of talk up, y'all. I apologize. I'm over here trying to get my life together. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, I was really fighting with the microphone. if we keep it real, because we're gonna keep it real on this show, the microphone was acting up. You know, I ain't gonna lie to you. The microphone was acting up. I'm gonna try to put it. I don't want to hit y'all know my Samantha necklace. Y'all know it's on. Y'all see chain. Samantha necklace gotta go to the back. Okay. All right, we got it. Okay. So anyway, I want to make sure I have the microphone on because in the past, when I don't have the microphone on, you know, y'all can't hear me that well. It starts to have a little screechy thing going on. So let me go ahead and get the tick of talk up. And we can start this show the way that we need to go. Funny thing, y'all. Oh, wow. This is interesting. Got it. My camera is so different. Golly. Y'all got a new I got a new phone. God's just been doing a lot with me, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. God's been asking me to do different things, and I have no idea what's going on here. I don't know. I don't know what they got going on here, but we gonna just go. I don't know, y'all. I don't know why TikTok do, like, really? I don't see why they make it so hard to just have. Is that normal? Okay, I look normal. Cool. That works. Let's just do that. We gonna go. Okay. All right. So anyway, guys, I don't know if it's pixelated on that end. I might need to take off my thing, but anyway. So I am here tonight. I got a new little phone, so I was working with that as well. I also had to get my water, y'all, and I didn't get no ice, but hey, it is what it is. We here. We gonna have a good time. We gonna make this thing work. I'm not gonna take out my gum in front of you guys. That's rude. But we gonna have a good time tonight. I want to shout out to everybody that is on the show tonight. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name, if you do not know, my name is Samantha Lee. And I have been going live on YouTube and Instagram space YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. I've been doing all this for like 5 years. 5 years. I'm just kidding. I think I started with a show called Miracle Monday. I did that a while ago. I don't know, y'all, you know, I'm on my parents' internet. So, you know, if the Wi-Fi don't be Wi-Fi, I might need to, because I don't think I could stream. Let me see if I could just do without. It might mess up the quality for that, but I want to make sure my YouTube is where it needs to be. So I'm sorry tick of talk. I gotta do what I gotta do. So anyway, my name is Samantha Lee. And I want to make sure I can see you guys. It's a little dark on my YouTube. Y'all who are on my tick of talk. Okay, there we go. It's bright. I had to brighten that thing up. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the show. It's so good to see y'all, man. It's been a minute. The tick of talk. I might need to put you right here or something. Is that better? I don't know if that's better. Is that distracting to y'all if I have it right there? I like it better this way because y'all are not inappropriate there. Is that distracting to y'all? I don't want to be distracting to y'all, but tick of talk be adding up. Is distracting? How is it distracting? Oh, y'all just be adding up. I don't like it sideways. Y'all gonna have to just deal with it. This is easier. I got my little platform. I know it's like right there or whatever, but okay, hold on. I understand what y'all saying. Trying to think of what I can do. What else can I maneuver? What can I do? I just like this. Of course, somebody said they liked it better the other way. Of course, y'all did. Of course, y'all liked it better the other way. Tick of talk. Because y'all be trying to see my goodies, not my goodies. It's in here. That's for my husband. I've already put out the content. My husband is his Disney World, and I'm not showing his Disney World. I've made that commitment to my husband, to my future husband. He knows I don't show his Disney World no more. God spoke to me, boo. And he told me you wouldn't appreciate it, so I went in a different direction. Because God told me you don't play that. And husband, whoever you are, I love it. I love it. I love it. You don't play that because I don't either. So welcome to the show tonight, y'all. Tick a talk. Welcome. More to the right where the phone can be seen. You said what? You can move the YouTube camera more. I can't move the YouTube camera more. To be honest with you, I can. What I can try to do, because I see it's bothering you guys. Okay, I'm gonna try to do something different because I don't want to bother y'all. Somebody said I'm looking like I'm losing crazy weight. I am. Pam, no. Pam, no. I am. Your girl's been committed. I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission, beloveds. Is that better? I'm gonna try to keep it. I just need y'all uplifted, so that the people can get the uplifted. Okay, that's better. So you guys can kind of, well, anyway, y'all back. So yes, I have decided to, yes, your girl is, I went on my live last week and somebody was saying, oh, can you help me lose weight? I'm going to make my plan. But I'll be honest with you, it's not easy. It's not an easy plan, that I'm doing or what I'm doing right now. But I've been on it, y'all. On Saturday, it'll be 63 days that I've been on this plan. 63 days that I have been eating like this, and it's not for the weak of heart. It is for the strong of heart to eat this way. So, that's that. But anyway, for you guys who do not know what we're here to talk about tonight, we're here to talk about three signs that you're truly chosen by God. This is inspired by something, so I'm going to tell you guys a story because I feel like I like telling stories, and I think you guys like me telling stories. I'm going to share those stories, and I'm going to get into the meat of the message for those who want to know, am I chosen? And the thing about this, family, is that a lot of people want to be chosen. A lot of people say, oh, I'm chosen. I do chosen content a lot. It was like before I did a thing called Sigma Male Content. This is when I first got on the YouTube space. And everybody was a Sigma male. Everybody was chosen. The reality is, if we can be very, very honest, not everybody is not chosen. In fact, more people are not chosen than chosen. I know it feels good to be chosen. God did create all people, and we all have a destiny. We all have purpose. But let's be very clear, not everybody's chosen. So you have to discern, where you stand and where you're living your life. Because one way I will say is that if you're unwilling to be obedient to God, if you keep doing it your way and you don't want to do what God's calling you to do, and you're just kind of like staying in your own way, well, then that's the number one sign you're not chosen. Okay? Because here's the thing, family, we all are called. It says many are called, few are chosen. Many are called. That means that a lot of us have a call. But what choices we make determine whether or not we reach the destiny and the purpose that God has for me and that God has for you. And some of you guys are standing in your own way because you're comfortable, because you don't want to make any changes, because you say you have faith, but you're not really willing to walk in the faith that you say that you have. So yes, a lot of people are called. A lot of us get the call, but not many of us actually pick up that daggone phone. And so I'm here to encourage those who would ordinarily ignore God's call to pick up the phone. Okay? Period. So, I want to get into this message. I definitely want to spit my gum out because I don't want to be rude. Some people, they say when you chewing, I'm a chew gummer. I like to chew gum. I chew a lot of gum. But let me spit this out because I don't want to be rude. Hold on. I say that because I just like to chew gum. I'm a chew gummer. I really am. Anyway, back to my point. So, costly signs you're chosen by God. Reason why I'm doing this topic, family, is that this past weekend I was with a friend of mine who came into town and we went to a conference. This conference was True Love Waits Conference. Shout out to Intentional Rising Podcast. I got a couple cool shirts. I have this shirt that says "Relax, I Got It," which is really, really cool. And there's another shirt that I have. I've created content in it. It says Godfidence on it. God, G-O-D, Fidence. And so I shout out to them. I love what they do. But they have a True Love Waits conference. And so I went to that particular situation because it's so crazy. Because when I was a kid, I did the True Love Waits conference. Like I did True Love Waits. Like I was like waiting till marriage. I did not wait till marriage, unfortunately. But it was basically like a mass deliverance. Like, so they did their podcast recording, but then they went into a mass deliverance. And y'all, I came out of there and I literally feel like I'm a virgin again. I do. I feel like I'm a virgin. At this point, it's been years. I feel like, and then I did Deliverance. I feel like I'm a virgin. Like my husband's getting a virgin. Clearly, like it's happening. Like I never thought of it. I haven't been able to say that in several years, but I'm a virgin. And so it was a mass deliverance. I joke, but it was a mass deliverance. And I really do feel like pure, just coming from a very clean slate. In that, I realized as I was talking about just certain struggles I've had, I realized that there was a lot of struggles that I had with rejection. And I'm going to be very honest tonight. I'm not in the space of like really like coding my words. I feel like today, today's day and age, we don't talk enough about what's really happening, what's really going on. Thank you, Francina. You're really pretty too. But yes, so anyway, I really, really want to put out content that is real, that is authentic. I say this all the time. People have tried to cancel me when I wasn't doing nothing. So at that point, I feel like God allowed me. He gave me the freedom. He took me off the leash and said, they're going to try to cancel you regardless. So you might as well say what you want to say anyway. I'm like, you know what? You're right. Okay. I accept the call because there's too many of us that are tiptoeing. And understandably so, because, is freedom of speech free? You know what I'm saying? These days, freedom is a question. Now, I'll tell you this, family. I'll tell you this straight up. First and foremost, I don't do politics game. That's not my calling. That's not my world. I'm not into politics. I'm not politicking. I'm not about that life. But what I am about is speaking the truth that I feel like God wants me to share. So let's get into it. So as I was having my, I was with my friend and, family, I was just being like brutally honest. Like it's almost like confessing one to another. Like we were just being completely honest just about everything. Like every skeleton that was in the closet, I threw it out and I just said it. The things that caused me shame, I said it. Well, I said most of it, said most of it. And I realized that there was a pain point that I hadn't spoken about related to our topic tonight. And the topic that I chose was because I felt like I had been passed over. There was opportunities, family, I did not receive. I felt like I should have received them. There was tables that I thought I should have been sitting at. There was events that I thought I should have been at, or hosting at, working at, different things that I feel like I was just like, why didn't I get the opportunity? Why didn't that happen for me? There's people that I felt like, they were saying all these things. You're called, you have promised, you're talented, you're vivacious, you're this, you're that, all the things. But then when it came down to actually getting a seat at the table like I thought I would, I didn't get it. When it came to connecting with people that I thought I should, they didn't want to connect. When it came to just even the way that things have been growing and things like that, I thought, for sure this, and it wasn't that. I've seen a lot of favor though. God has shown me a lot of favor. And I know a lot of that was because I wasn't in alignment. I wasn't doing what I was purposed to do. And now that I'm in my alignment, I do believe I'm doing what God has called me to do. I still feel sometimes like, dang, like why, we're in the same world, but you avoid me. We're in the same world. We do the same thing, but you not, like, it's like you can feel left out. I'm being honest. I'm just going to be honest. Like I can't like not. And, as I was talking to her about that, she said, well, Sam, and we were, at this point, we was both Holy Spirit filled to the brim. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at that point, we could have levitated. You know what I'm saying? We were just it was just Holy Spirit filled, man. We was, I just, the environment was like, I left there and y'all, I was so tired. That next day I was done. I was drained and I knew God had cleansed me from some things that needed to be cleansed. But anywho, I felt the rejection. And she was like, well, you were, Sam, you were born to stand out. And you hear that all the time. You were born to stand out. You were born to stand out. You hear that, but you don't think about that because a lot of us, we maybe weren't the popular kids in school. Maybe we were the ones that were bullied. Maybe we were the ones that were overlooked in our own family. Maybe we were the ones who were passed over for the promotion. Maybe we were the ones that were rejected by our last relationship. We haven't gotten over that. Maybe we were, when we was growing up, we was everybody was choosing everybody but you, but now everybody wants you, and you like, no, I don't even want y'all no more because of how y'all did me in the past. I remember everything you said and did. We can get into that, and I definitely have been there, and I obviously family was still carrying some of that because I've been bullied. Y'all don't know that I was bullied, right? I was a bigger kid. And before puberty, I was not an attractive child. I'll be honest with you. I was just not. I wore glasses. My hair was I didn't know how to do my hair at the time. I had these streaks in my hair. I looked crazy. I was thicker than a Snicker, but I was in Atlanta, so they appreciate the thickness. Okay, they like the schnookums. And so they was it was all right for that, but it was not all right for me. I I don't know if I'm gonna say this, but I was like, why not? Why not? We're here. So I was sweating a lot. When I was going through puberty, I sweat a lot, okay? And then and and at the time, like I like y'all can see I'm Ecuadorian, Ecuadorian, Jamaican, and white. Like I have a lot of hair. Like so until like I learned how to like manage that, like I just was not I just was not attractive. Okay. I was just not. I was awkward. I was trying to figure out my shaving schedule. I was sweating. I was bigger. I'm not even gonna get into that story. But I was just not it. I was not it. Like I was not. And I remember my dad always said to me, like, Sam, like you're so beautiful. He would always tell me I was beautiful. Even when I knew I wasn't. Like I knew. I knew I wasn't. Like y'all, you know when you not. I wasn't. I just wasn't. I had braces, I had everything awkward I was. Right? I just wanted small legs. I just wanted a smaller body. I just couldn't. It just wasn't gonna happen. And let me tell you something. When I say that puberty, literally it looked like I had plastic surgery happen to me. I'm telling you, when that puberty at the other side, like it looked like I had plastic surgery. It was that extreme. I mean, it was that extreme because my braces came off. I was starting to wear contacts. I dropped weight. I grew taller. My hair grew. I mean, my body was starting to body. Oh, no. It went from the bottom. Now we here. Everybody else making fun of me. Oh yeah, no, that next year. Oh yeah, no, I was taking names. Okay, look, started from the bottom. Now we here. All right, like I bullied for like 2 years, and then bam, I was like, they're like, who is that? That's Sam. Oh, oh, and my brother hated it. He liked it when nobody liked me. But with the started from the bottom, now we here, baby. Okay. But that was until what? Sophomore year of school. My freshman year was rough. It was towards the end of my freshman year. That summer in the fall semester, I looked like a completely different human being. I mean, I really did. My face started thin out. I started looking like a woman. Okay. They wasn't ready for your gear. But anyway, I say all that to say, I had gone through so much at the time to where, nobody was really dealing with me. I was coming to Atlanta. You come to Atlanta, you're not like, I'm not black, but I'm not white, but I don't speak no Spanish. So I'm like all mixed all over the place. I identify more, obviously, black culture. I was the way I was raised, my mannerisms, the way I speak. I just how I was raised. I speak no Spanish. Okay. So I couldn't relate to that. I can dance to the music and I like the food, You know, I understood some aspects of my culture, but I wasn't Spanish speaking. So that put me out the race. Then, you know, so I identified with my people and we stayed together. We me and my people, we stayed together. Okay. And that caused, and that's just what it was, And so a long story short, I went from nobody dealing with me to being bullied to then my whole physique, everything about me changed. And that's just like one example of part of my life. Because then even from there was people that rock with me at one point and wasn't rocking with me after that. It was just a lot of changes that happened in my life. And I think a lot of us don't understand that part of the cost, one of the first signs that you must know is that chosen ones typically have this type of redemptive arch. This is a chosen one staple. Every chosen person I know, where I know that there is something on their life, God got favor, God is speaking to them, there's a redemptive arch. And what happens is a lot of us give up before the arch ever completes. If I had allowed the experiences of people that were bullying me, people that were looking down on me, people that were rejecting me, if I had stopped there, if I had stopped right there where the enemy wanted to have me, I would not have gotten to where you see me now, where I have platforms with hundreds of thousands. If not, at this point, hundreds of thousands on each one, but now it's millions of people I'm reaching weekly. So it's like, if I would have stopped there, I wouldn't have made the redemptive arch. A lot of us give up in the middle because we're being bullied in the moment, because we're dealing with what we're dealing with in the moment. We don't allow the arch to complete because on the other side of the arch is a redemption. On the other side of the arch is purpose. We have to go through that swing, and there's a reason why we have to go through this swing. Why do we have to go through this swing? Because the reason why I connect with people the way that I do is because there was a time where I wasn't me. A lot of people say right on my comments, a woman that looked like you, a woman that looked like you. I didn't always look like me. In fact, I was bullied, went through that. Then I went to college and I went through a thing called Steven Johnson syndrome. Steven Johnson syndrome had me change my appearance overnight. I changed. Literally, the guy that I was dating, basically, he cheated on me, basically broke up with me at that time. I changed, my physical appearance changed. And I realized that just like Steven Johnson, just like a car accident, just like anything else in our lives, just in a matter of a moment, everything that you put your hope into, if it's money, if it's your health, if whatever it is, anything that you put your security into, in an instant, it can be taken from you. Some of us are putting all of our security in a relationship. In an instant, that relationship could change. Some of us are putting all our cookies in the basket of our appearance. In an instant, I'm here to tell you it can change. So when people say to me, well, why do you speak like this? And why do you talk like that? Like, I promise you, I go to events and they're like, you're so pretty. I can't believe you speak the way that you do and that you do. And I'm like, is it that rare? like what's going on? First of all, I'm not, the Arabian princess of Aladdin. Like, listen, y'all, I love me some Princess Jasmine. I'm not Princess Jasmine, but I'm close, baby. But I'm close. But the reason why I have the personality that I do is because I went through the arch. The arch builds character. The arch allows you so that when you're in the position that I'm in now, and the positions that I'll be in the future, I had the character to match the calling. A lot of us don't allow God to do his process because we don't understand, we're not cognizant of The fact that there's a purpose in the pain. There's a purpose in you not being chosen and you not being overlooked and you not being when you're being left out of situations, when you struggle with your identity. There's a reason for that. The reason is that there's character that has to be built to match the calling God has on your life. When you are chosen, you have to know how to handle a mantle well. Let's go back into David and Joseph. David and Joseph didn't just get their positions. David and Joseph had to go through a process. Joseph had to be refined, had to go to a pit, to working as a servant to Pontius. I forgot the guy's name, but he was basically a general underneath the king or the pharaoh at the time. He then gets falsely accused of grape, goes under the jail, is there for 2 years for something he did not do, is still being faithful to God, and then he's promoted. Not right away, but he gets promoted overnight. David has to go through a 10 plus year process as well, where he has to be refined in order for him to be king. You have to understand God's process is not immediate. God's process takes time. And the reason is, if you can look on the internet space right now, for you not to sabotage what God is giving you. God doesn't give you the car. He teaches you how to drive it first. And a lot of times, in order for us to drive it well it's for us to go through a process. We resist process today. We're an instant gratification generation. We're a microwave generation. And so we resist process and we wonder why we don't go through the arch. Because if God was to put you in that position, he wants you to steward it well. He doesn't want you to sabotage. But a lot of us, we end up shortcutting the process, trying to find a way to get hot quick, to get the deal, to get the music, whatever the music deal, to go viral immediately. And what we do is we compromise to get there. And in that, we sell a piece of ourselves in the process. One costly sign that you are truly chosen by God is that you are overlooked. Is that you go through seasons where you're hidden. It's not for you to now be in the position of power or authority or where you will be and you take it out on people. That's part of the process, baby. Part of the process, part of the war scars that you have to wear is the fact that there was a day where you were not chosen on the playground to play basketball. Didn't nobody want you to play on your team, on their team. And then now, look at you now. You might be a star basketball player wherever you are. They wasn't choosing you before, but baby, it's better here, isn't it? You mad now you didn't align with me then. You was that football player on the field. You were small. You hadn't gone through your phases yet. But now you done gone through all your phases and you might be playing for a team. They didn't see it, but look at me now, beloved. They were talking about you in choir like they didn't choose you for the choir, but you had a voice and you knew you had a voice. But the girl that was choosing or the woman that was choosing, her daughter was there and she didn't want you to outshine her daughter. So she didn't choose you for the choir. But look at you now. That redemptive arch is important. Why is it important? Why is it important? Because when you get into the positions that God has for you, you'll be able to steward that thing well. Not like, oh, I've always been here. You're able to steward it with humility, knowing that there was a time where you weren't that. Knowing that at the time, or there was a time, where no one saw you. Where no one was choosing you. When you had to sit at lunch alone or in the bathroom. When you were sitting alone at church. You in the youth group sitting by yourself. It's those moments. It's those moments where the enemy can whisper those words in your ear to make you feel like you shouldn't be here anymore. And a lot of young people, if I'm being honest with you, there's so many of them that take their lives before that arch completes. They don't get to see the other side because they didn't know it was possible. They thought that where their lives are, it will always be. And I'm here to tell you, it's not true. God can really do the impossible. But we have to be strong enough to get through the arch. And so I'm here to encourage people. If you think about what you were stressing about last year at this time, you're probably not thinking about that anymore. Our storms are a season. They're not forever. But one of the costly signs of being chosen is hardship. Hardship, being rejected, being abandoned, feeling alone, feeling misunderstood, feeling like you need to find a way to fit in. That's a sign that you've been chosen. Why? Because you weren't chosen by people. That's what we forget. We talk about being a chosen one. We're not being a chosen one. We're not a chosen one by people. I don't want to be chosen by people. People are too finicky. People love you one day and they hate you the next. You do the right thing, something they love. Oh, you the star of the show. You do something wrong. You off one day. You say this, you say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people too finicky. People too up and down. I want to be chosen by God. I want to be chosen by a stable force that no matter what I do, because here's the crazy part about it, family. I wasn't right. I know it's probably shocking to you guys. You're probably like, Sam not being right? What? That's crazy. I didn't have great moments. In fact, a lot of you guys are watching my platform and I'm telling you what I'm doing now because I did it wrong. I just did a video saying, hey, yes, I'm waiting on God. I'm trusting God for my future person. I'm trusting God. Why, Sam, are you trusting God? Because I've gotten it wrong. I've done it my way. And I see the results that my way has brought me. Has it brought me places? Yes. But it hasn't brought me to where God has brought me. God has brought me to a whole new world. And so I trust him. I trust him. And because I trust him, I'm allowing him to lead me in every area. Every area. No holding back. No holding back. So yeah. I know I kind of like meshed together two of them, but I really want to make sure I drill it in. Number one sign is when you feel overlooked, when you dealt with seasons of being rejected, when you've dealt with seasons of being hidden, when you've dealt with seasons where you were bullied, where you dealt with seasons where you just feel completely misunderstood, isolated on your own island, and you're just like, no one understands me, and you don't feel, you want to be anyone else but you. That's the first sign. That's the first. I know it's crazy. Like, how is that the first sign? Because God does redemptive arches. He specializes in the redemption. He specializes in testimonies. He specializes in that. Okay, I'm reading some of these comments. But the second sign that I put together, I didn't mean to, but I think one of the biggest things is when you're in positions and you are intentionally being left out. Like, you should be invited to certain things. You should be like, first sign was, okay, we think about when I was bullied in school and all those things. Okay, that's that. But now here we are now. You're still being left out on things that you know you should be a part of. There's rooms you know you should be in. There's tables you know you should sit at. But you're not. And you're like, what's going on? I don't understand this. Like, why am I still not in these positions? And that's because, baby, you chose it. You're trying to fit in with people, and that's the problem. You trying to sit at tables with people. That's the problem. God is like, listen, he does not allow us to sit in certain situations because he's got a whole nother table for us. We trying to sit at the people table. God's preparing a God table, and that's where we want to sit. What the problem of the world is, and what the problem with today's church is that too many church people that are in power, people that have platforms, they want so badly to sit at the social media table. They want so badly to sit at the celebrity table. They want to be aligned with human power, world power. They are so worried about getting, like, connecting and being liked by who's powerful in the world that they forget their mission is to align with an all-powerful God. Who cares if you sitting at Beyonce's table? No shade to Beyonce. I'm not, this is not what this is about. But you trying so hard to align with other people, you're not even thinking about what God wants you to do. That's part of the problem with the church. We're so worried about being liked and being popular that we're missing out, or we're diluting the truth. No. Part of being chosen by God is being willing to stand on your own 2 feet if nobody like you. We so worried about not being canceled. We so worried about people, oh, what they gonna say, okay, cancel me. If God called me to say it, cancel me. It's cool. I'm okay with that. If I'm being faithful to my God, I'm okay with you canceling me. I'm okay with it. But too many of us, oh, I don't want to say that. So what? Cancel me then, baby. Try. One thing I know about my God is that he don't play about me. So I'm not going to talk bad about you. You can try to cancel me if you want to. Ain't going to work. Because you didn't give me this platform. God did. And too many of us are trying to align with people. People can't save you. People can't save you. What people going to do? Nutty. When the chips are down when you are going through a tough time, what's the first thing somebody gonna say to you? Oh, I'm gonna pray for you. That's what you're gonna say. And here's the thing, that's actually the best thing they can say. But it's acknowledging something, family. This is my point. It's already acknowledging that their power is limited, and they want you to pray to, and they're willing to pray for you, to an all-powerful being. What does that mean? That means that when we're looking towards people to get us in positions, or we're trying to align with our favorite celebrity because they, well, no, family, you out of order and you out of pocket. There's too many people with a platform that's so afraid, and they're tap dancing to what people, want to hear. No, that's not what we're here to do. We're not here to do that. I'm not here to placate to people and watch them walk off cliffs to death. No. So yeah, when you're chosen, the reason why you went through number 1 is to be able to do number two. The reason why you had to go through seasons of people not caring and you being canceled and people saying this and people saying that and you having to go through the reason why, and people don't understand that. They spend their time trying to debate with people on the internet versus understanding that God is preparing you for something greater if you just allow it. But that's why I say all of us are called, but few are chosen. Few are chosen. Few are chosen. We over here trying to be popular and tap dancing for people. That's not Bible. That's not biblically sound. We're teaching people how to pave their way to hell with good intentions. No, family. That's not Bible. That's irresponsible. That's I'm trying to get viral. I'm trying to warm your little heartstrings so that you feel good about yourself, so you can feel good on the way to hell. Why would I do that? That's not real love. That's not what God calls us to do. I'm not saying that we do the whole, go on the side of the road and with a bullhorn and say, "You're going to hell." No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is we go through seasons of understanding people being forgotten by, hidden from, bullied. We go through these seasons not to become a better people pleaser. And that's what happens, family, is that instead of it giving you a level of, I don't care what people think. No, people will say they don't care what people think, but become a better people pleaser. What does that mean? I say I don't care what people think, but I'm sitting here arguing with people. I say your actions will tell me way more than your words do. When you out here being defensive to people, you care what people think. When you sitting here talking about what somebody said about you on the internet, you care what people think. I don't care what you think, but I want to address this. No, you care. Your behavior is telling on you. Too many of us want to act like we don't care, but your behavior is speaking for you. You do care. The reason why we go through number one, the reason why we deal with being forgotten about, hidden, all these things, Jesus had to go through that. Jesus went through seasons of being hidden. In fact, we don't even know what happened between 12 and 33. All we know is when he started his ministry and when his parents let them, or he was learning at the temple and he was about his father's business and they had to come back and they had to get their son at 12. We don't know what happened between those two times. He was hidden. We don't know. He had to go through hidden seasons to be prepared for the ministry that we would now be talking about generations later. He had to go through that and grow through that. And a lot of us want to skip that. We forget. If Jesus had to do it, why do we feel like we got to skip process? If Jesus, a God that became man, had to go through process, why do we think we're exempt from process? Was his process easy? No. But guess what he had to do? He had to endure a really challenging death. A death for the very people that put him on a cross. Why did Joseph go through what he went through? So that when he had the position of power and authority, and he would be in front of the very brothers that would take him into slavery, that will throw him in a daggone pit and leave him for dead. When they came before him, he went through process so that he could forgive them, and not only forgive them, but take care of them. The very people that sold him into slavery, he spent the rest of his life and their life taking care of them, despite them. The reason why we go through number one is to be able to do number two. That when we're not invited to sit at the table, than when we aren't given the respect that we feel like we deserve. We understand that our acceptance, it's not about whether our mommy and our daddy like what we're doing. It's not about whether our family understands us. It's about saying, if God called me to it, I'm going to do it. And I'm not going to allow the world or what the entities the enemy sends to stop me from what I know God is calling me to do. Too many of us say we don't care what people think, but we still tap dancing to what we think our mama wants to hear. No, family. We go through number one to be able to do number two and do number two well. It's understanding that, yes, we're not invited to those tables because we're not supposed to sit there. We're not supposed to sit at those tables. We're not. We want to be seen. We want the podcast to be heard. We want people to put some respect on our name. Do you know what we're... No, baby, you different. That's why. You different. You can't sit at those tables. You're supposed to be something different. You're supposed to do it the way you do it. You don't start doing it the way that they do it. So many people, they want to assimilate. No, you're supposed to stand out. Yes, I see people, they have this way that we do podcasts, right? We do podcast recording certain ways where they sit on a pretty couch and it's white and there's white little furniture all around and there's a camera that's a little further out. And again, it's super fly. I love it. I see a lot of people doing it, but I understand that God specifically, when I was like thinking about doing my podcast and how I wanted it to be done, you know, they got the makeup, they got the glam, they got the hair, they got it all going on, man. They got it all going on. I want to say, Amara, I hope I'm saying that right. I know how to say her name, but I love what I love what you do. Thank you for showing up, sir. Respect. Thank you. I wanted to do my podcast differently because I felt like this is how other people do podcasts, right? And so I was like thinking about that. Pam knows that. I was thinking about how to do the podcast and and you know what? God just said, no, I want you to put the camera on and I want you to talk into it. I don't want you to be done up. I don't want you to look like you're not you. I want you to be you in front of a camera. And so you will go on my More Than Just Pretty podcast page and you will see that I've committed to that I was going to look natural. I was going to speak exactly what God had put on my spirit. And I was not going to deviate from that. What does that mean? That means that just because I did it differently or I had to do it differently does not mean that it's less than. It means that God has called me to do something different. And we today are too afraid to be standing on our own 2 feet. No, God called you to do it that way. You do it that way. Stop trying to do it like everybody else just because that person does it that way or this person does it that way. And I'm trying so hard to fit in. No, you were born to stand out. Even if you did it that way, even if you did it the way that everybody else did it, I guarantee you God still wouldn't bless it. Why? Because it's not you. It's what you think you got to be somebody else. You're not built like that. You're not supposed to be built like that. Why? Because yes, they did it that way and it worked for them. But the way that God is going to do it for you is unique. It's different. The way that God is going to do it for you, you have to be willing to accept the fact that people aren't going to understand why God is calling you to do it this way. That's not for you to be lazy. That's not for you to not do your research, but it is to say focus on your race. When you see sprinters, and I love watching track, I really do. I love watching track. You notice I've only seen a few people do it, which is one is Sha'Carri. I don't know. I haven't seen too many others do it. But track runners, they're taught to look straight ahead. They are not taught to look at everybody else's lane. They're supposed to look at their lane and they're supposed to run their race, and that's how they do it. Too many of us, we get into the gates in the very beginning and we start looking at where everybody else is doing, how everybody else is warming up, and we start doing it their way because we think that that's what's going to produce that result. Like we see oh, come on, I can't. Well, y'all know, well, y'all don't know this, but I love Sydney McLaughlin Lavroni. Y'all got to know that I love her because we got a mixed girl out here talking about Jesus and literally annihilating the competition, breaking records and taking names. I'm going to meet Sydney one day, period. When I know she might, I am going to meet her. I love her. I just love her. Anyway, you can watch her. Sydney ain't thinking about nobody. Sydney just in her own lane, breaking records, taking names. Because she's not thinking about nobody else. She's thinking about her steps. When you talk about when she's counting a little up until she goes on to the obstacles, I can't say the words, but she's just 1, 2, 3, 4. She's just thinking about her race. If Sydney went in there trying to race like the other women that run the 200, because now she done broke a record there. If she was sitting there thinking about them and how they run their race, she wouldn't be her. Usain Bolt, I heard him speaking about past races and how he was noticing how other people were doing things. He's like, I just had to focus on my race. I had to run my race. That is the point, family. We don't why are we not winning? We're not focused on our race. We're so focused at trying to do it the way other people do it or trying to sit at tables that don't belong to us so that people will accept us. Let me tell you something, family. When you start winning, when you start doing it God's way, when God starts to put favor on your name, some respect on your name, they will have no choice but to respect what you're doing. And not only will they respect what you're doing, they're going to ask for the the blueprint. I know that there's certain things that I'm representing now, family, that's not popular. It's not worldly wisdom. And so a lot of people might say, well, how you going to do this and you ain't doing this? How you going? Can I be honest with you? Wait until God does it. Because then when God does it, you're going to be looking back at all these past podcasts or all these past words that I have put out, and you're going to try to figure out the blueprint. Mark my words, this will be brought up one day. Somebody's going to clip this part out when they see what God does in my life. And they're going to say to themselves, well, dang, she did give us the blueprint. Yeah, right now you might be saying a whole lot of things and it may sound good, but when you start seeing God put a little bit of favor on, all God got to do, all you need is a move from God. Somebody said, I didn't know you were a sports fan. I'm an avid sports fan. I love watching sports. Well, not all sports. Let me stop that. I do love watching sports, but I don't watch all sports. Like baseball, I have to be in person for. Can't watch that on TV. Golf, I'm not much of a golf fan. I might maybe when I'm older, but gymnastics, all the other ones, I can watch all of them. Anyway, I completely went off base. My whole point is this. When we're talking about what God is going to do in and through you, I've gotten okay with people not inviting me, not saying this, not saying that, not at times feeling like I'm not getting the respect or the eyes on me. But I know it's because we think of things just physical, but everything is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. Like we think it's just, algorithming. Let me tell you something. When God decides to move, it doesn't matter what the algorithm is or is not doing. I could be doing this right now and God could say, you know what? My daughter been faithful. I'm going to blow a little wind on her. And next week you can see 8,000 people on here. Why? Because my God is faithful. Like God isn't, we feel like we got to do more when we really just need more God. Like that's what I've learned. The world teaches us to just run ourselves ragged and lose ourselves in this race. And what I've truly learned, is that it's not about losing ourselves in the race. It's really just inviting God into the mix. Because God didn't put us on this planet to strive and to hustle and to not sleep and not eat and be stressed out about content. That's not what God ordained for us. Or even with our jobs. God didn't put us on this planet to be sitting here stressing and on this hamster wheel of always working. That is not what he called us to do. He called us to trust. He called us to do the best that we could do and then trust. And again, we watch what other people do. Other people that are in our worlds, whatever worlds you're in. And we allow that to influence us, to impact us, to change the way we run our race. I'm here to tell you, you went through number 1 so that you could do number 2, which is focus on your race and not worry about what table you are or are not sitting at. Not worry about whether people understand or don't. Not worry about how they're doing it over there. You know, there's so many people that started this journey with me, family, that have done the relationship communication things. And you know how many people are still in it with me? These people were winning. When I started, the people that were winning, I don't hear from them. They're a non-factor today. And that for whatever reason, God would not allow me to do it that way. Like, even though I wasn't at my best with my connection with God, he still wouldn't let me do certain things. God is not going to let you be successful if you are chosen. God is not going to let you be successful doing it any other way. Until you surrender to his plan, you're going to keep hitting a brick wall. You might get good results, but you will not get God results. Until you allow yourself to implement some of the things you need to learn in this journey and surrender to his plan, you will get good, but you will not get God. And I would rather have God than good any day. Because with God, it is good. And it exceeds expectations every single time. Family, the other day, I was minding my business, you know, and talking to a friend of mine, and we were sitting there, and I realized I was sitting in a dream. What do I mean by that? I literally dreamed of this moment. I think we said 6 months before, that God has shown me that moment 6 months before that time. And I saw it in the moment. I was like, wow, God really speaks to me. I'm so humbled by that. But here's the thing. If he would have allowed that to happen right when it happened, I wouldn't have appreciated the moment 6 months later, where now I'm at this place. God is intentional. And he's very real. But a lot of us don't allow ourselves to go through the process. Somebody asked me again, what was number 1? What was number 2? Number 1 is when you feel overlooked. When signs you're chosen by God, number 1, you feel overlooked. And you feel hidden. You feel isolated. You feel like no one sees you. You feel rejected. Like you just blend in. I just thought of a moment in Aladdin, where Aladdin is like, I'm always going to be this beggar. I'm always going to be this guy. Like, unless I have a genie that makes these wishes come true, I have no hope for a better future. But the enemy knew that there was a better future for him. He just didn't know it. And so how the enemy won was convincing him that he would always be in that position. And so he never strived for greater because he never internalized that greater was possible for him. Some of us, that's exactly where we are. Number 2 is accepting that even now, so you go through seasons of being overlooked, hidden, not appreciated, all those things. Now you're in a season and you feel that you're not getting the respect you deserve. You're now in a season where you feel like you're not invited to those tables, where you're not fitting in where you should fit in, where you're being specifically ignored, specifically avoided. Like, you know that everybody else that's in your position would be in that environment, but you're the one who's not. That's number 2. And I'm here to tell you guys that is intentional. That when you're chosen by God, you can't still be chosen by, sometimes these two are not going to work out. You can be chosen by God and rejected by people. You can be chosen by people and rejected by God. Sometimes God will allow them both to happen simultaneously, but when those two happen together, that's when God knows that you are able to handle that. God is not going to elevate you until he knows that you can handle it. As I stated before, he's a good God. He's not going to put you in a position where he knows you're going to literally sabotage prior to the appointed time. God is hiding you on purpose. When you understand, family, that everything is spiritual, it literally allows you to see things clear. Everything is spiritual. Every rejection is spiritual. Every moment that you're building a channel is spiritual, and you feel like you should have more, and you feel like you should be this, and all of it is spiritual. All of it is, when you understand it's all spiritual, that is half the battle. It is spiritual. The enemy of this universe is a great illusionist. He makes illusions so that we buy into those illusions, because he can't stop your destiny. He can get you to stop, because that's when your destiny stops, is when you stop. If you keep moving despite the illusion, you will reach purpose. But what happens is the enemy is going to convince you that it's never going to happen for you, that it's never going to grow, that the relationship is never going to happen, that you'll never have the child, that you'll never. He's going to convince you that what it looks like now, it will always be. And only when you believe that and you move according to that is that true. Some of us desire things, and because we've been hurt or we've been disappointed, we've allowed the world and what we've experienced to get us to stop. And that is a trick of the enemy. The enemy wants you to stop. The enemy doesn't want you to reach purpose. The enemy doesn't want you to have covenant. The enemy does not want you to have legacy. So yes, he will allow and create circumstances that look like they can stop you. But baby, I'm here to tell you, can't nobody stop you but you. If you stop moving, if you stop being consistent, and you allow what you see dictate what you do, it won't happen for you. It's a test. It's a test. Just like a sprinter, just like someone who is riding horses, keep your eyes on the finish line. That finish line is Jesus. Keep your eyes on God. Because what we do is we get lost in what people are saying about us, what our mama thinks, what our family say. I'm even talking about your family. Yeah, I'm talking about them. The enemy can use anybody. Job, the first person that told him to give up was his wife. His wife was the first person who the enemy influenced to tell him to give up in Job. Keep your eyes on the prize. Keep pressing towards the mark, Brian. Let me say thank you to you guys. I want to thank you guys for your support. Y'all know I got caught up in this. Thank you, YouTube user. Thank you, sir. Thank you for sewing in. Malachi, thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you guys for sewing in and doing that. Okay, so I want to make sure we got that point. And one of the last things that I want to say about costly signs that you're chosen by God. It's probably one of the most painful things. And I mentioned it, I've sprinkled it in here. God's process is not our preference. The redemptive arch, not being accepted by people, being left out, even when you know that at this point in your life, you should be there. You should be there. You should be. Here's the last part. It's this process. Bible talks about counting the cost. This is why I say many are called, few are chosen. Because few of us are willing to go through and get to the process that God has for us. We're unwilling. We're unwilling. Why? Because it feels like it's taking too long. Because it feels like God is not with us. It should have happened by now. What am I waiting on? Like, we get impatient with God's process, and because of that, we give up. The point of the matter, and I want to make this clear, the third hard, costly sign that you're truly chosen by God is that when you surrender to his process, you understand it's not his preference. It's not your preference. God's process isn't appeasing to the flesh. It's just not. It's meant to grow you. It's meant to create a version of you he intended that does not exist right now. Romans 8, Paul is talking about how he does not want to do what he wants to do, but what he wants to do, what he should want to do, he's not doing. He's talking about there's a war between his flesh and his spirit. And what I'm here to tell you is that God's process is not convenient. God's process doesn't fit into your planner, and he will sometimes orchestrate heartbreaking rejections, heartbreaking, debilitating situations where you get let go from the job, when the marriage doesn't work, when the relationship does end, when things are going on with your kids, when you're dealing with life. He sometimes allows these circumstances to happen, not to punish you, not to create a bunch of chaos in your life, but to get you to a place where you're unapologetically seeking him. That before then, he had to fight for your attention, but now all eyes are on him. That is why God allows. His process is not your preference, and that's number 3. That you have to count the cost, family. So many people think it's cute and it's amazing to say you chosen, but the process of a chosen one is hard. The process of a chosen one requires sacrifice. The process of a chosen one is that God is on you until you decide you're going to be obedient. God will put you in circumstances where you specifically have to focus on him. He will allow the injury to happen. He will allow you to be let go from the position. He will allow the relationship to end. He will allow the diagnosis to come through. He will allow something to happen to a close family member. He will allow these circumstances to occur. Don't think it's for no reason, family. It's purpose, baby. God is saying to you, listen, I've tried to get your attention. I've tried to ask for your attention nicely, but you still feel like you got to fit me into a schedule. And so I'm about to clear the schedule on you. Because you're chosen. You might be saying like, God, but I don't like that part of being chosen. God's process is not your preference. Sometimes what God uses to get our attention is really painful. When you understand that everything is spiritual Everything is spiritual. Even that hardship. Even that moment of weakness. Even that, God will use. God has used some really painful things in my life. And there was many times where I questioned. But can I tell you now, as I sit before you, I see why I had to go through it. I see how intricate his design is. Because where I'm sitting right now, family, let me tell you something. It was 2010. This is what I wanted. But I was not the person. God had told me at that time I would be a different kind of influence in this world. That he was raising me up to be a different kind of influence in this world. In 2010, I could not do that. Did I want it in 2010? Absolutely. But I was not the version of a human being that anyone should follow. I was toxic, broken, and just all over the place. There were some things God had to deliver me from before I could sit before you today and handle this mantle responsibly. God's process is not your preference. That means I've had to go through heartbreaks. I've had to go through people smear campaigns and things of that nature. I've had to go through a lot. I've had to go through a lot. A lot. A lot. I've been homeless. There were times where I was sleeping out of my car. A lot. I had to go through Steven Johnson syndrome, not once, but twice. There's people that haven't survived going through one Steven Johnson syndrome. I went through it twice. A lot. I've had to go through a bad divorce. A real high conflict divorce. That took years. A lot. I've had to go through ups and downs with jobs and a lot. I've had to go through a lot. Being assaulted. A lot. Bullied. A lot. I've had to go through a lot. A lot. That wasn't my preference. None of it was. But that's a tax we pay for promise. That's a tax we pay for purpose. It's to say, you know what? I'm going to put aside my comfort zone. I'm going to put aside convenient. I'm going to put aside my ego and my pride. And I'm going to humbly come before the throne of grace and say, God, I know you're calling me. Your servant is listening. And there's nothing I won't do. There's nothing I won't do. He said, oh, you're here. Now I can use you. Now I can use you. Now I can use you. I couldn't use you when you were still moving in that way. And I had to get it to a lot to be surrendered if we're being real. So I must be super hard-headed. But it was only by God's grace and his mercy that I'm here now. And when I wanted it, I already know I would have sabotaged it. So his grace and his mercy preserved me so that I can do this here. And again, family, it's not about being comfortable. It's not about doing what's convenient. It's walking heavy. It's walking heavy. A lot of people will say they want to walk heavy. No, it's hard to walk heavy. Walking heavy ain't for the weak. Walking heavy, not knowing where you're going to go, not knowing where you're going to live, not knowing where you're going to work, not knowing, leaving the relationship, leaving the job, leaving whatever God is calling you to leave. Walking heavy means doing it in a way that doesn't make sense to nobody. That's walking heavy. Walking heavy is not comfortable. Walking heavy is saying, I'm going to do it God's way, even when I don't have an understanding, when I don't see the result, when I don't have the answer, when I don't know how it's going to work out, when I don't know how they're going to respond. Walking heavy means I'm going to face my fear and I'm going to walk and do it anyway. I'm not going to allow the appearance of what this may be or the what ifs that come in my mind. If God is calling me to it, I'm going to do it. If God told me to leave it, I'm going to leave it. If God told me to write it, I'm going to write it. God called me to do the song, I'm going to do this. If God called me to go to this place, I'm going to go to this. God, listen, this is not popular. This is not convenient. It takes strength. It takes a fortitude that many don't have. But I believe that everybody that's watching me right now, I want you to know that you do have that fortitude to say, I can do that. God calling me to do it, I'm going to do it. It's not for the weak. That's why you got 12 disciples that was out here walking heavy. Nobody could do it like them. Why? These men had fortitude. These men had forward thinking. These men said, listen, I'm not going to let what it looked like. I'm not going to let no jail cell. I'm not going to let anything stop me. When I see men of God really walking heavy, it's a beautiful thing. Because men, when they make up their minds, it's different. Men are radical. When a man believes in something for real, it's sold out for real. Oh, it's radical. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see a man of God, like for real. Not like I'm a man of God and I'm not. No. When I see a real man of God, it's a beautiful thing because they not playing. They ain't half stepping. They're not on the fence. They all the way in the water. When a man makes up his mind, he makes up his mind. A woman, we be on the fence. But a man, oh no, a man, I can see why God gave Adam dominion. Because when a man makes his mind up, it's scary. There's too many of us on here. And I'm going to close here. A lot of us are on here, and there will be more. But I want to encourage you, family. When you're chosen, you're called. Know that the rough part, beginning, the season where you're hidden, bullied, forgotten about, made fun of, where you're questioning your identity. Then number 2, when you go into seasons where you're being intentionally left out, intentionally, it's something deeper. Your light too bright, baby. Your light too bright. You trying so hard to fit in with other people. They light ain't like your light. Their conversation, their thought process ain't your conversation and thought process. God got us flying up here. He's created our minds to be up here, and we trying to dumb it down. We're trying to go down to be where these people are. Oh, you know what? I'm an eagle. Let me be a pigeon today. No, eagles stay as eagles. Eagles, even if they by themselves, they're going to be by themselves. An eagle will fly alone. And a lot of us are too afraid to fly alone, too afraid to step up on our 2 feet. We're so afraid, and that's how the enemy gets us. Eagles don't play with pigeons. Eagles ain't out here trying to be no daggone pigeon and get the pigeon to understand why they still an eagle. You know what, eagle? You know what, pigeon? I'm tired of being an eagle today. I'm just gonna be down here with you. I don't like being an eagle. I want to be a pigeon. I want to speak pigeon talk. I want to do what pigeons do. That's not what eagles say. Eagles understand their authority. Eagles are like, I'm not about to be down here with no daggone pigeon. Even if I gotta fly by myself, I'm not gonna be with no daggone pigeon. Because I'm an eagle. Some of y'all, as I know it sounds crazy and you're laughing, it's true. But y'all, you're an eagle. You're a falcon. And you out here trying to be like a pigeon. Like a seagull. No, baby, you an eagle. You're not even trying to be a cardinal or a robin. You're trying to be a pigeon. And trying to relate to pigeons. You ever seen an eagle relate to pigeons? Think about it. What if an eagle come around a pigeon? What is a pigeon going to do? They're going to run. You over here wondering why these pigeons are running from you. It's because you're an eagle. You're an eagle. That's why. You weren't created to relate. You weren't created to relate to pigeons. And we work so hard in our lives. And that's not saying pigeons, oh, they lower or they're this or they're that. I'm just saying where God is calling you to be, where God is calling you to fly isn't for everybody. Many are called, few are chosen. Where you're supposed to fly, the fly zone you're in, only other eagles can get there. But you out here, oh no, I'm going to turn up with my homeboys. Your homeboys are pigeons, I'm sorry. You're called to covenant. You're an eagle. Oh, I want to go hang out with my homegirls and we want to twerk something in the club with these random dudes and do whatever. Baby, you an eagle. That's pigeon behavior. God's called you to become a helpmate, a legacy builder, a glory carrier. You over here trying to fit in with pigeons? I'm not calling people pigeons. I'm calling mentality pigeon. That's a pigeon mentality. A eagle, a male eagle is about legacy. A male eagle ain't out here just, I'm sorry, just sleeping around. Male eagles don't do that. That's pigeons. That's a pigeon mentality. An eagle, he got purpose. He's intentional. He ain't just coming to the ground just to come to the daggone ground. He coming to the ground with strategy. You ever seen an eagle try to find his food? He circles his food. He's circling. He don't come down. He comes down lower and lower and lower. And when he finally sees the food, he strikes. And he's not just out here just mindlessly doing. He's getting what he came for. He's an eagle. He's intentional. He's not wasting his effort trying to find all different kinds of food. He's looking for specific food. He's an eagle. Some of y'all men wonder what's wrong. Why is God not blessing it? Because you're not moving like an eagle. You're moving like a pigeon. You see how many men get caught up for moving like pigeons? You see they get locked up, charges, because that's pigeon behavior. That's not an eagle. An eagle understands covenant. An eagle understands legacy. An eagle is a man of God. An eagle understands that his body is worth more than to just give it away. His energy is worth more than just giving it away to random people, random women. He understands his value. Eagles aren't wasting energy. Eagles are preserving energy for the right moment. You ever see a lion? Lions don't be out here just running after food. They leave the lionesses to do it. Lions be sleep, chilling, preserving their energy for that moment that they got to protect their pride. They're not just out here doing whatever. They're intentional. They conserve their energy. Men of God, women of God, you're eagles. Start acting like it. Stop allowing these pigeon mentalities to impact you. And I'm talking about fear too. I don't know. So what am I going to do? I don't know. No, yeah, that's pigeon. Are you an eagle or not? Not everybody's called out. You might be called to be an eagle, but maybe you just don't want to be an eagle. Cool. Don't be an eagle. God will raise up another one. Choose you this day whom you will serve. Are you an eagle? You a pigeon? Are you a lion? Are you a Siberian puppy? I mean, it's a Siberian household cat. Which one? Lion, house cat, eagle, pigeon. Do you see lions talking to house cats and say, hey, you know what? I'm tired of being a lion. You know, being a lion's real. It has its days, but I'd rather just be a house cat. One thing about an animal, they stay in their lane. You don't see house cats chilling with lions at all because they're afraid they're going to get eaten. And that's the cost. That's the cost of being chosen. It's understanding who you are and whose you are well enough. And you're not trying to fit in at the wrong table. That you're trying to sit at a table that maybe makes sense to you in a moment, but there's things God knows that you don't. You're called to be an eagle. You're called to be a lion. Are you going to accept the call? That's your choice. All I have to say is, as for me and my house, we're going to be eagles. We're not going to lower our ability to fly so that we can fit in better with more birds. Nah. I'm an eagle. And I'm going to keep being an eagle. You were born to stand out, family. And that's the cost of being chosen. Cost is to be misunderstood. Cost is to not be at tables you feel like you should be. Not be in rooms you feel like you deserve to be in. Not get the promotion you feel like you should get. You can't just be with anybody. That's why God's made it hard for people to access you. Or has given you the conviction to access you. To make it hard, your access to be harder. It's because you're an eagle. You have purpose, you have a call. Don't lower your level, family. You're chosen. There's a cost. But I'll be honest with you, the cost of fitting in with pigeons versus accepting I'm an eagle and there's things that eagles specifically have to deal with that pigeons will never have to deal with. You heard me? When I accept the call, I understand that there are certain types of predators eagles have to deal with. There's certain threats eagles have to deal with. There's certain things that eagles have to deal with that pigeons will never deal with. And we over here admiring what the pigeon got to go through. Like, man, you ain't got to worry about an airplane. I mean, we been taken out by these airplanes. Pigeon's like, I ain't never had to deal with that. I can't fly that high. I don't have the capacity to fly that high. But you do. Because you're chosen. Fly with eagles. You were born to stand out. All right, family, I think I've drilled this part home. I could give you another 7 animal and metaphors, but I think we got it with 2. I hope tonight's episode really does help you, gives you perspective, because I really do want you guys, I want your light to shine unapologetically. And I want to encourage those who are coming up right now and are feeling emboldened, your light is shining. You feel God is moving you. You have those calling. I want to encourage you. In a world that would rather keep you silent, I want you to get loud. I want you to find your voice. I want you to touch purpose. I want that. I want that so badly for you. Don't let the world silence you. That's all the enemy would love to silence you, make them mad. Speak anyway. Do it anyway. In spite of that. Somebody trying to silence you, get louder. God's got a plan for you, family. A beautiful one. All right? All right, family. I love y'all. I will see you guys next week. I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I would love to hear your comments below about what you thought about the live and other conversations you would like for me to have. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and I want to thank people again. I see who gave here, the YouTube user Malachi, YouTube user again. Thank you so much for just supporting me. Those who hit the Cash App, I haven't looked at the Cash App while I'm on here, but I want to thank you guys in advance for that. For those who just support the show, man, it just means a lot to me, y'all. I really, really love this live. So I thank you guys for being, y'all are family to me at this point. Y'all are family. So I love you guys and we will talk soon, okay? Let me get out of here. And good night, family. Good night.